Hey, hi, and hello, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you are doing well. And today we are going to do a video where we are going over what TikTok has shared as their biggest global viral hits, musical hits anyway, and sounds from the platform for the year of 2022. It's a pretty eclectic and interesting mix of songs, and I'm going to tier them out based on my own personal preferences and my views of the song quality of these tracks. As many of you, especially those who are on the TikTok platform, know, songs and sounds may not necessarily go viral because of the quality of the track. Often it may have more to do with, like, you know, a meme or a joke or a format or a dance routine that is attached to that song, which is the case for some of these tracks. We're not going to be kind of taking that into account in this tier list. I'm going to be speaking purely on what I view as the quality of the song, and yes, tiering them out accordingly with that. I wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsor in this video, good people over at The Ridge, still making these amazing, nifty, minimalist quality wallets that fit nicely in your front pocket. This particular wallet, one. I know in my recent videos I've been like rocking this one, been showing that one, been showing this one quite a bit. This is my own personal Ridge wallet, which I just got my hands on again recently because I lost it on a roller coaster and it flew out of my goddamn pocket. On the roller coaster, which is not the Ridge wallet's fault, by the way. That was me being an idiot. I should have had it in a bag or something. But I just wanted to say that this thing flew out of my pocket at a high velocity on a roller coaster, and it like hit the dirt, got full of crap, and like is still here to tell the tale. Being able to get this back, I think, makes it a lucky wallet. So I'm going to be sticking with this one for quite a bit. Hit that link down below. Use promo code melon to get a fat percentage off your order, because right now the site is doing a site-wide sale, much bigger than the 10% that you guys have been used to. With that, let's get started with these songs on this list. Bam, kicking things off with Chris MJ, Una Noche, and Medellin. That is the track over here, and I'm not super impressed with this one. I think it's got a solid groove to it, which, I mean, kind of explains the dance trend that is attached to it. But outside of that, there's not really a whole lot I find about the song that is all that special. It's kind of bland, it's kind of generic as far as a mainstream track in the reggaeton field goes. The vocals are super understated and lifeless. The synthesizers have little to no flavor. And again, while the groove is there, the perks have really no interesting texture or personality to them as well. I think this track is a fairly run-of-the-mill and very lowest common denominator. May explain why it's so widely appealing and easy for everyone to get into, because there's not anything all that out there or risky about it. I would put it in the D row. It's not amazing, but it's not super awful either. Just kind of a bit of bland wallpaper, I suppose. Okay, next we have this track LSD from an artist who I am just hearing of as a result of this list, honestly. This is a heavily auto-tuned piece of trap. It's quite wavy, but also quite generic as well. I suppose you could make the argument that the vocals are really expressive, but outside of that, I just don't really see a whole lot of hype behind this one. Again, dance trend attached to this track. Not too surprised about that, but just as like a standalone song, I just don't really find it to be all that interesting or entertaining of a listen. There are tons of artists making exactly the same kind of sound, exactly the same kind of vibe right now, and doing it with more personality, more creative production. While it's not super grating or awful to listen to, it's nothing special either, and I think quite boring after a while. I would throw this in the D row as well. Boom. All right, next on the list, we have the one and only Lizzo with About Damn Time, one of the biggest pop and soul crossovers of the year. Yeah, it's groovy. It's catchy. It's great. It's tightly produced. Not one of my favorite Lizzo singles of all time, but, no surprise as to why this song would hit. The beat, bass line, vocal leads are all great and sugary and sweet and instantaneously catchy. Again, even with this not being one of the best songs of the year, in my opinion, the chorus still like sticks with me. It's about that time. Sort of wish the new album was a bit more consistent and maybe with more tracks that followed along the lines of this one, but, what are you going to do? what are you going to do? We still got this song. Don't really have too many qualms with this one, other than I guess it's not really blowing me away, but not every song needs to. I would throw this in the B row. It's a good track, fun track. Okay, next on the list we have Bad Bunny with Chencho Corleone, Mi Porto Bonito. This track has been a huge banger on the TikTok platform this past year, with loads of transition videos attached to this one. While I did find Bad Bunny's new record to be pretty bloated, not one of my favorites of this year because of that. This track kicks ass. The production on this track is great. The vocal performances are amazing. I love the multiple phases of the song as well. The switch-ups are cool. I think it's really creative. I think Bad Bunny is consistently doing really daring and colorful and interesting things with mainstream Latin hip-hop and reggaeton and so on and so forth. He is certainly deserving of the popularity and attention he's been getting, because I can't really think of anybody at his level of popularity who is bringing forward records that, again, yes, while I do have some reservations, are still undeniably creative and interesting, and at least taking some risks, while also coming through with a product that appeals very widely. So, it's amazing when an artist can come through and kind of strike that balance between, yes, having a mainstream appeal, but also doing stuff that's legitimately on the cutting edge. Maybe not as experimental as what you might find on the burgeoning underground Latin scene at the moment on the internet, but still well written, still again colorful, and still lovely. The vocal chemistry between Bad Bunny and Chencho I think is great, and yeah, love this track. I would actually put this in the A row. Great cut. One of my favorite songs on this list. Actually, I'll go ahead and spoil it and say my favorite song on this list. So there we go. Okay, next we have one of the most internet things to ever internet on the list over here. If you've been online and you are aware of the content of documentarian Louis Theroux, you've probably heard these edits and remixes of I guess a little thing he had going where he was talking about his money don't jiggle jiggle. Admittedly, I mostly kind of avoided this trend because I love Louis's work. I've been a fan of his work for a long time, and I don't necessarily want this silliness to sort of start making me see his work in a different way. But with that being said, I do find it very funny and very interesting, and I commend the fact that this kind of ended up turning into a legitimate song with multiple remixes to its name. And, listening to the track itself, it just seems like a bit of fun. Louis and Duke and Jones just kind of, doing their thing and having a good time and just making a funny, silly little tongue-in-cheek rap song. Maybe it is a little desperate to, take on some slang and terminology that is a little cringe in its application. Very thin novelty track, and I can't say I get a lot out of it personally. It's just kind of silly and funny for the moment that it's on. I wouldn't really jam it casually, I don't think. I'm going to put this over in the C row. It's fine. It's not too bad. Okay, next on the list we have Demi Lovato from her album Confident, which, obviously came out years and years and years ago. Good on TikTok for having the ability to just pull random songs out of the ether and just make them popular. Once again, sometimes bring them to new levels of popularity. And the song that we're talking about here, Cool for the Summer, is not the original version, because on the TikTok platform, sped up versions of tracks or nightcore versions of tracks are kind of like the new thing, the new hotness. There are multiple songs on the platform right now, which the sped up versions are more popular than the original versions. And this just happens to be one of those examples. I mean, I think the song itself is fine. I can't say I get a lot out of listening to it sped up. Some songs on the platform I do, I suppose, like Them Changes kind of sounds cute sped up. And, obviously I'm no stranger to nightcore and no stranger to, the art of sampling and
pitching things up sometimes for a certain kind of chipmunky effect.
I don't think I, again, really get much out of hearing this sped up, but, if the kids are into it, I suppose it's fine. Hearing it sped up doesn't necessarily ruin the quality of the song per se, but it is what it is. I would put this over in the C row. I feel like I'm not even so much reviewing the song itself as much as I am the fact that it's sped up, but whatever. Okay, next we have WZ Beat. Beat Automotivo Tan 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 Viral. This beat was used in a joke format trend where you had a lot of TikTokers that were listening to like a pounding through a wall or a door, and then it would kind of reveal the punchline or something on the other side that would, kind of be the joke. I thought listening to the sound that there was a lot more to like the uploaded version of the song that I would find on streaming platforms, but it didn't seem like there was. This is just kind of like this 1 minute pounding kick with a few tiny variations from beginning to end. It's not really a fully completed thing, and mostly just as a standalone experience seems like badly produced. I also assumed that when I would hear the original version that the mix and the sound of it would be better as well, because sometimes certain trending or viral sounds on TikTok, could be like uploaded third or fourth hand or some shit, saved in more of kind of a messier lo-fi manner or something like that. But no, this thing actually just like is not a full song and sounds like crap. But hey, it works for that joke though. Okay, next, another one of the most viral tracks on the platform was Willow's Wait a Minute, which comes off of a record I was not really a huge fan of when I first heard. And it's interesting that a song from this album, which again is years old at this point, popped off, given that she just dropped a record this year that was in more of kind of like a metal and pop punk vein. This particular track right here does have kind of a rock aesthetic to it. There were a lot of songs on this record that I just totally dismissed and discounted at first. I will say revisiting this track through this list, through its TikTok virality, has me like rethinking it. Like, I know during this era of Willow's career, I had a lot of reservations about like her singing abilities and her delivery. And while certainly that is not perfect, I will give it to her for being super expressive on this track, having a solid chorus and a dance groove on the song too. I actually think this track is pretty good. And, in a lot of ways, showcases the direction, artistically speaking, to come for Willow, given that she's like really going hard in the paint with that rock and punk shit right now. So this track is pretty good. It's a pretty solid little pop rock cut. I would put this in the B row. Ba-bam. Next, we are talking about Nicky, Youre, and Daisy's Sunroof. This track is a slick little pop cut with some sugary ass vocals and some of the worst lyrics I have heard in any love song this year. I remember it popping off months and months and months ago, and I did not like this track upon first listen. I still don't like this track. It's maybe a little too sweet for me. It's maybe a little too sugary for me, and there's some lyrics on the cut that I just don't think make much sense and are quite silly in an unflattering way. I think I'm going to, honestly, if I'm being real with you here, I'm going to have to go and put this in the E row. Maybe it seems a little brutal for a song that is so sugary sweet. And also, to its credit, it is well structured, but I just find its performance and its singing and its writing to be very annoying, very obnoxious. I'm just not going to get past that. Finally on this list, speaking of blasts from the past, we have Young Lean's Ginseng Strip 2002, one of his earlier hits from the first leg of the 2010s, and quite an influential cloud rap banger. Now, I wasn't really crazy about this era of Young Lean's career when it was first making waves. I thought and still think to this day, as far as like, early era cloud rap goes, you could do a lot better. For me, during this point in time, it's really about artists like A$AP Rocky. His breakout mixtape is absolutely amazing. And I think, guys like Young Lean, while he did excite certain parts of the internet, and you have to, attribute to him stuff like the sad boy vibes and style, a lot of what we would come to know as like these drained aesthetics. Like, obviously, Young Lean has had his very well-deserved time in the sun. He is incredibly influential. Tracks like this, while I'm not super crazy about them, was not super crazy about them when I first heard them. And I think, they sound even thinner now in terms of their appeal, because hip hop since then has embraced even wavier aesthetics, even at the mainstream level. So yeah, there's some aspects of this song that I find to be quite limited and maybe not having aged the best. I still do give the track and give Young Lean tons of credit for being ahead of the curve here. And while I'm not super enamored with it as far as its lyrics or vocal performance, I do have to say, like, it is a vibe. It is a vibe. It is most certainly a damn vibe. And no surprise it would reach virality once again with like pretty much the same audience and demographic of people who it did originally, but now of a different generation on a different platform on the internet. It's kind of crazy that Young Lean in this sort of like youthful state has appealed to the same demo of people, even though now he's older and he's totally moved on with his life into different sounds and vibes and things in his new records. But this Young Lean that we know from the past is still appealing to this demo, but it's just like kind of hit the reset button, and now it's happening on TikTok. And good for him. I hope he's seeing some benefit off of this track going viral once more. I would put this in the C row. I think it's all right. I think it's fine. For me personally, I'm not like putting on and jamming Ginseng Strip 2002 casually or anything like that. But it's cool that it's here. But yeah, this is the tier list. Read it and weep, y'all. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think of all these tracks and their virality on TikTok in the comments down below. Love you. You're the best. Mwah. Bye.